Ce Warwick, il va mourir puisqu'il n'a pas gardé l'eau sur la glissade d'Echo. Et donc là, ça va être le Echo cette fois-ci de Sonic Fox qui va avoir très fort à faire. Attention par contre parce que ça c'est pas safe, Sonic Fox il le sait, il va évidemment venir punir. Get of attack, c'est bien joué, ça permet de reprendre un peu d'air. Et là, si le combo n'est pas droppé, compte tenu des ressources et du bleed, normalement ça devrait tuer. Merci, un partout entre
Avant qu'on commence un peu à mettre des scores. Le L'overhead 19 frames qui lui permet aussi de mettre l'offensive. On a déjà dépensé le burst, ça peut être très dangereux parce que vu qu'il y a un partout, c'est un burst que tu n'auras pas pour possiblement mettre le mode Fury. Donc ça peut être compliqué pour la suite de la game. Bloodlust, Sonic Fox, c'est maintenant ou jamais.
C'est maintenant ou jamais. Et Sonic Fox qui a bien montré comment il pouvait carotter. Il est pourtant malin, hein, Supernoon. Il essaye d'utiliser par exemple le projectile de Darius, toutes les options qu'il a. Voilà, exactement comme ça pour laisser le champ libre à son Echo. Mais Sonic Fox, il est bien au courant des choses. Gros jumping par contre, incoming de la part de Supernoon. La fin du combo qui est un tout petit peu droppé. Mais il y a quand même. Si le scramble, on voit plus rien. En tout cas, c'est Supernoon qui a l'avantage ici avec son Echo. Ça va tenter voilà, la super S1 pour en terminer. Et Sonic Fox qui perd un peu bêtement son Echo là-dessus. Hein.
C'est une dinguerie Echo. Après le tournoi, je vais aller voir les devs. Hein.
Il y aura des discussions.
Hop là, je vais faire 10 mètres derrière là, je vais aller voir les poteaux. Je vais dire chef, on va discuter les gars. Allez, level 3 trouvé par Supernoon. Magnifiquement trouvé. Et c'est Sarabada. La première game qui allait très mal hein, côté Supernoon a totalement été renversée. Il y a un 0 pour le bonhomme. On rappelle que c'est du FT2. Donc ça peut vraiment aller très vite cette histoire si Sonic Fox ne se ressaisait pas assez rapidement.
Ouais, j'allais dire Supernoon, sa grande force c'est qu'il a arrêté de se faire manger par les carottes de Warwick. Mais là on l'a vu, hein, une dive et c'est déjà mid-bar pour ce Darius. Mais tu vois, Supernoon il est quand même malin parce que encore une fois il se sert vraiment bien de la symbiose entre Darius et Echo. Le burst ici pour éviter encore une fois de se faire carotte par Warwick. Mais c'est Echo cette fois-ci avec la Super S1 qui va trouver le corner. Side switch pour rappeler Warwick. OTG ici, double side switch. Premier dragon into, voilà, je te mange la tête, into la super. Et c'est la mort.
L'OTG il est trop bien.
Ouais, l'OTG il est vraiment bien.
Tu mets une mise au sol, tu croques, ça fait side switch, exactement. Et en plus ta combo derrière. Donc là c'est bien, l'overhead a été bloqué, hein, 19 frames. Néanmoins derrière on arrive à trouver l'ouverture qui est passée de l'autre côté avec le wall bounce. OTG, on est un peu loin pour pouvoir tuer parce qu'on rappelle qu'on n'est pas en double down côté Sonic Fox. Mais les pressings sont encore présents.
Allez, pressing full présent du côté du Warwick qui laisse pas ce Darius respirer, même si là voilà, il va trouver la bonne punition ici. Supernoon, son Darius qui a quand même un bon bout de chemin à parcourir. Oh, par contre l'assist Echo nature peinture ici qui va bien faire son office. Et la super de Darius pour en terminer avec ce Warwick. Alors Echo full barre de vie, donc encore une fois un gros bout de chemin à parcourir pour Darius, mais pas impossible.
Ah, pas impossible, hein. En tout cas c'était très beau ce qu'il a proposé la Supernoon sur la remontada. J'aime bien aussi le fait qu'il commence ses pressings par 2 médiums parce que ça lui permet directement de mettre un low puis de remettre du mid et de finir par 3 H. Donc encore une fois, c'est pas du mix mais ça force l'adversaire à rester réveillé un peu sur ce qui se passe. Et ça c'est blockstring les gars, ne vous inquiétez pas, il n'y a pas de situation de pari, on n'a pas 40 ici, le burst ça va être compliqué parce qu'on a les conseils, on a le chip damage.
Et ouais, le chip damage qui va venir faire son office et sauver Sonic Fox. Mais Sonic Fox qui était quand même grandement dans la panade, hein. Ça va pas forcément dans son sens. Encore une fois, l'overhead de Warwick qui fait tellement le café, les croissants et le jus d'orange hein, pour Sonic Fox. Ici par contre, on vient de challenger ça avec le Darius, c'est tellement bien joué pour se sortir du corner et de la panade. Ça va faire ici coast to coast avec le Darius. Évidemment les bons dégâts, on rattrape OTG avec le projectile et la super S1.
Ah mon gars, ça fait mal, hein. Il faut optimiser de fou. Hein. Optimisation Station, ça s'est rattrapé aussi de la part de monsieur. Le premier perso qui dégage, c'est Echo. Donc tu auras plus Shenanigans, ce multi-super et tout ce qui va avec. Ça va être à Warwick de faire le boulot comme un grand garçon et possiblement de remonter les deux persos de la team d'en face tout seul. Est-ce que ça va être faisable? Je ne sais pas. Entière trouvé, on n'a pas mis de follow-up sur le spécial. L'overhead 19 frames qui sera bien bloqué cette fois-ci de la part de Noon qui renvoie directement dans le corner Sonic Fox avec l'extend du combo qui ne va pas être loupé cette fois-ci. Level 1 S2 et on est dans le corner, il y a le saignement, attention à la suite.
Ouais, il suffira d'un simple projectile sur le sol assist Echo pour permettre à Supernoon d'aller trouver une balle de match si je ne m'abuse.
Exactement, un balle de match bien évidemment pour Supernoon qui force directement Sonic Fox à utiliser le break dès le départ, donc on sait qu'il n'y a pas de furie, du moins peu importe ce qui se passe dans cette game. On rappelle que Supernoon mène au score mesdames et messieurs, qu'il est possiblement sur le point d'éliminer Sonic Fox de ce tournoi si jamais il n'y a pas de remontada. l'assist Darius qui est passé parce qu'on est passé derrière avec Echo. Il y a eu un inversement de garde. Donc forcément le shoulder qui donne wall bounce et starter combo a fait mouche. Retour au sol entre guillemets, on a réussi à 40 la relever sur la gain up attaque de Sonic Fox qui était tenté avec Warwick. L'extend est bon. Est-ce qu'on aura assez pour amener jusqu'au bout? Baessin, la super et ça va pas tuer.
Ah, ça va pas tuer, mais ça va être quand même au bord de la mort. Là, une mauvaise décision. Challenge dans les airs. Je sais pas s'il a vu K7 jouer avant, mais en tout cas, il a les mêmes idées. Hein. Supernoon d'aller challenger dans les airs. Allez, il faut absolument permettre à ce Warwick de reprendre un petit peu de vie, même s'il en reprendra pas des masses. Et encore une fois, hein, c'est Supernoon ici qui mène l'avance. Super S1, mangé nature par Sonic Fox, qui va perdre beaucoup de vie sur son écho. Ah, c'est impressionnant les combos que tu peux faire avec ce perso, c'est n'importe quoi.
C'est dur, hein. C'est bien ce qu'il a tenté ici avec le change sur notre ami Darius qui était rentré après le S1. Mais malheureusement, c'est pas passé. Ici, on aura une opportunité pour mettre le Z-change de la part de Sonic Fox avec l'OTG de Warwick qui est trouvé. La level 3 va lui permettre de possiblement retourner la cadence de cette game. Ça va être un peu compliqué parce que là, on avait un très bel avantage côté Supernoon qu'on vient de perdre malheureusement avec un personnage en 1v2. Néanmoins, une ouverture pour peu importe le personnage de Sonic Fox. Normalement, c'est Sarabada.
Ouais, c'est clair. Non, mais là, de toute façon, Sonic Fox, il a vraiment du chemin. Alors, Supernoon aussi, tu me diras, puisqu'il est en 1 contre 2. Mais son écho est extrêmement efficace. Et il y a toujours l'assist Darius pour venir. Oh, ça dragonne du bon côté ici. Merci, monsieur. Sonic Fox, il s'en laisse pas compter. Hein. T'inquiète. Ici, voilà, le écho get up attack. Qui va,
bon
du coup, qui va du coup
bon
lui permettre de
ah bon
mettre
non
oh là là, ce bête. Oh là 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 là.
Le pif.
Le pif.
Le pif.
Et il faut pifer, on est en France. Hein.
Meurs pas sur ton pif. Il a respecté la France.
Et ouais, il a respecté la France, Supernoon et Sonic Fox est libre.
Il a respecté la France avec le meurs pas sur ton pif libre.
Et ouais.
Du coup, Sonic Fox is down. Troisième place pour le tournoi en France. Et donc mon prono sur la grande finale va être mauvais.
Et ouais.
Mais on aura une grande finale, match retour entre Wawa et Supernoon.
Ouais, c'est magnifique. Et ouais, du coup, on n'aura pas de match retour entre Wawa et Sonic Fox, mais franchement un gros GG à Supernoon. Et encore une fois, j'ai un peu l'impression qu'en termes d'adaptation et surtout avec Darius, c'est un peu la suite du match précédent. Là où K7 il avait certaines idées, notamment d'aller contest ce Warwick sur la dive, sur ses approches aériennes. Et j'ai l'impression que Supernoon, lui, il a fini le travail, il a raffiné en fait ses idées.
On va voir ce que ça va donner, hein. Il a raffiné ses idées, et ben après comme on le disait aussi avant le tournoi, c'est lui le meilleur Darius au monde.
C'est vrai, c'est vrai.
Darius. Donc là voilà, il y a Wade qui donne un peu son approche côté gauche pour le W. Première grande finale de l'Evo sur du XKO, mesdames et messieurs, c'est Supernoon versus Wawa. Sonic Fox aura eu la 3ème place, on a eu un top 8 d'anthologie. Dans le public, est-ce qu'on a kiffé notre journée aujourd'hui ou pas?
Ça m'a l'air d'avoir plutôt bien kiffé.
Ça prend encore. L'énergie est bonne.
L'énergie est bonne. Hein. Ça fait plaisir de voir ce public un peu roots assis par terre, prêt à partager la hype tous ensemble.
On a les 3/4 des gens qui sont sur les deux baby stats de l'autre côté.
Et oui, ça,
où la régie du coup nous a mis de XKO.
Ah, ça fait plaisir ça. Merci la régie, vous gérez de fou. Et donc ouais, match retour. Ici, Supernoon versus Wawa.
Yes I.
Ah, ça va envoyer du lourd. Hein. Ça va envoyer du lourd. Avec du coup tout à l'heure Wawa qui nous a montré de très belles choses, notamment avec son Yasuo. On va voir s'il parvient à faire aussi bien ici. Attention quand même au Darius de Supernoon en embuscade qui a fait de gros dégâts.
Oui.
Et qui a vraiment tenu Sonic Fox en respect, notamment en bloquant un peu le jeu, les shenanigans que voulait mettre en place Sonic Fox. Donc on verra comment ça réussit à Wawa tout ça.
On va voir ce que ça va donner. En tout cas, il n'y a pas de perso bizarre. Comme tu le disais, c'est des match-ups qui étaient connus un petit peu avant. Il n'y a pas de Chimo, il n'y a pas de Warwick. On est sur des persos qu'on a eu l'habitude d'affronter depuis l'Alpha Lab 1, ensuite sur l'Alpha Lab 2, ensuite sur la bêta fermée et maintenant sur l'early access du jeu. Mais j'ai envie de dire, it's time! Une grande finale de Titan League. Un match-up qu'on a eu l'habitude de voir sur Dragon Ball Fighters en direct de Nice. Ça va bouncer les États-Unis contre la France. Supernoon face à Wawa. Mesdames et messieurs, est-ce que vous êtes chauds?
Allez, on est parti. ici, les États-Unis contre la France, c'est le run back. Rappelez-vous, Alevo Vegas, on est venu les chercher chez eux. Et maintenant, il est temps de prouver que la France, elle a ce qu'il faut pour briller sur 2XKO, que c'est nous les meilleurs. Et première phase offensive de Wawa avec son Yasuo. On le rappelle, Yasuo qui a fait tellement de travail tout à l'heure face à Sonic Fox, tellement de travail tout à l'heure pour parvenir jusqu'en grande finale. Et là, c'est vraiment ça qui va compter. C'est vraiment voilà, chaque interaction. Il est très très bon là-dessus. Wawa, première phase entière. Il ne faut pas se laisser compter. Ici, dans le corner, très belle escape. Wawa qui, encore une fois, utilise toutes les possibilités offensives et toutes les possibilités de mobilité de son perso. Il est très très bon là-dessus.
C'est très très bon ce qu'il propose. Encore une fois, on rappelle que Yasuo a le meilleur air move du jeu qui lui permet de passer en haut et d'installer une phase de cross-up en bas avec l'assist. On va réussir à trouver une ouverture côté Supernoon. Il y a Albers qui était installé directement dans le corner. S'il te plaît, tu vas y rester l'entière directement. C'est pour la fessée. On va se débarrasser du premier perso de Supernoon et Darius sera tout seul derrière. 2v1. On prend notre temps. Wawa ici à la gestion. On a voulu whip finish le 3H. Malheureusement, on n'a rien trouvé derrière. C'est Yasuo 40, 50, 50. Tout débloqué de la part de Supernoon. On va continuer à presser derrière avec le bouchage qui va lui permettre de passer en dessous. Mais on va ressortir du corner. On touche, pas de whip finish et c'est confirme pour Supernoon.
Ouais, c'est confirme pour Supernoon. Wawa, il s'est un tout petit peu précipité là sur sa tentative de Super S1 et là ça fait vraiment les affaires de Supernoon qui va trouver un énorme combo en overhead nature peinture pour le Darius et c'est Yasuo qui va du coup devoir s'élancer en 1v1. Oh, magnifique pari sur le coup de hache ici. Oh Wawa, il est tellement chaud avec Yasuo, c'est incroyable. Level 3 évidemment pour aller rack up le plus de dégâts possible et c'est déjà le premier round pour Wawa.
C'est beau, c'est beau, c'est beau ce qu'on traite de se passer, mesdames et messieurs. Le premier round a été mis pour eux. Dans le corner, cette fois-ci, c'est Supernoon qui est à l'ouvrage. Level 1 qui est instauré directement avec l'install d'Echo. On va ressortir avec notamment Echo aussi et Yasuo du côté de Wawa pour repartir en neutral avec les échanges.
Ouais, effectivement, ici encore une fois le reset qui est bien gardé. Mais là par contre l'overhead lui il ne le saura pas par Supernoon. Et ça fait les attaques de Wawa qui fait pousser juste au corner avec le combo du Yasuo. Ça rappelle ici OTG pour essayer et là encore une fois dans cette position. Yasuo qui sort immédiatement du corner sur le petit drop à la fin et le burst qui est utilisé pour Wawa.
C'est pas grave parce qu'ici il y a un win finish sur le medium qui a été trouvé de la part de Supernoon. On est dans le corner, on peut enchaîner ici avec le Soba S1 tranquillement. Ça va faire bouger avec le knockdown, pas de super, on va garder les barres ici avec l'OTG qui a été trouvé de la part de Supernoon. Loki s'aimait, que dis-je, tout est bloqué, mais il y avait eu le change qui était passé pour Echo. On va esquiver tranquillement aussi Darius qui essaie de récupérer l'adversaire avec le S1 et repartir vers le corner. Attention, la prochaine ouverture peut faire très mal, c'est la cible de Darius qui a fait mal libre.
Et ouais, encore une fois, Wawa qui se précipite un tout petit peu sur ses phases avec Echo et ce Echo du coup qui va venir nourrir, s'emballer sur la phase de Darius Echo de l'autre côté. Yasuo qui va avoir tant à faire, mais on le sait. Wawa il est capable de le faire. Il joue extrêmement bien. Son Yasuo il est très efficace là-dessus. Par contre, si Yasuo, oh on ne rattrape pas ici. C'est tellement dommage. Et la super level 3 va venir faire bouche. Et oui, par contre, il ne faut pas dropper ses joggers là. Parce que ici ça pique, on est en France.
Exactement, MPSTP, on embrasse Ken Bagarre qui est pas loin sûrement dans la salle.
Ouais.
On est déjà au point ici, Darius qui réussit à s'en sortir avec la 6 de Echo. Retreating guard, on ressort un petit peu de tout ce bazar. Décalage shop, et ça va tuer directement le Echo de notre ami Supernoon. Down avec Darius dans le corner avec la qui a touché directement, mesdames et messieurs.
Oh là, ça a Echo, un screamer, un jumpscare.
Il pull up comme ça. Il n'est pas invité au cookout.
Non, il est là quand même, t'inquiète pas, il pull up, il est là. Voilà, il qui a fait vraiment du bien, qui a permis à ce Yasuo de reprendre mieux là, mais vraiment le jumpscare que c'est mangé Supernoon sur la fin du round, c'est incroyable. Bon, par contre, ici, tentative d'approche aérienne complètement contrée par le Darius de Supernoon, qui va faire d'énormes dégâts. Wawa qui va faire conserver son break, il a raison, get up attack pour se donner un petit peu d'air et ça switch sur Echo.
Let's go, hein, ça switch sur Echo, ça fait rentrer en neutral, encore une fois, c'est pour lui. Généralement, pour embêter un peu son moment dans neutral, on a le projectile et décalage shop. Et comme on est en freestyle côté Wawa, on peut faire à toi, à moi, à toi, à moi, avant de devoir renoncer un petit peu à l'offensive. La mise de sol est bonne, on va rater l'adversaire dans le corner. L'install qui est trouvé directement de la part de Wawa. Il reste ici avec la shop avant qui est trouvée. On va néanmoins pouvoir burst pour garder l'avantage. Ici avec le toit chargé qui permettra d'avoir combo. On force à utiliser les ressources pour notre ami Wawa qui va devoir donc burster. Et l'offensive est trouvée au sol en 2x. Ça fait une petite ouverture pour monsieur et un confirme pour Darius.
Ouais, il était un tout petit peu présomptueux ici. Wawa, je sais pas comment c'est parti, mais ça va faire les affaires de Supernoon. Ici au corner, la shop qui est bien trouvée. Il n'y aura pas de follow-up et la get attack qui est complètement bait par le joueur
nombre de PV que Wawa a perdu sur le Blood, c'est aussi violent. On rappelle qu'il y a un petit bloc de Darius dessus sur les normaux. Donc la route LMH forward S2 S2, c'est full block string, mais ça permet quand même de faire bien descendre la barre de vie. Allez, on est retourné ici avec le pressing notamment là, de Wawa qui est sous le Blood, dans un anti-Yasuo. Grâce à qui tu follow up, direct to up, le wall bounce, pour aller dans le corner. Tu me le rattrapes celui-là. 1, 2, 3, bon mise au sol. On fait cette setup, le wind, et c'est la top qui passe à la relevée.
Sur la relevée de Sonic, par contre, on va pas trop se précipiter avec le Yasuo. Si c'est bien rattrapé, ramassage scolaire. Du côté de Superman. Oh là là, le full pari, ah, ça a tenté. Ça a tenté le full pari hein, du côté de Wawa. Les rebonds 37, toi-même tu connais. La shop passe bien. On va rattraper ici avec Darius. Mais encore une fois, la get up attack pour se sortir des problèmes et du coin. Le écho de Wawa qui rattrape bien ici. Allez, super S2. Get up attack pas bait ici par Wawa.
Get up attack pas baité, compliqué, j'ai baited. Ça a tué les deux personnes, donc j'ai envie de dire pourquoi pas. Yasuo qui est rentré, malheureusement, il y a eu un grand progrès devant cette situation. Qu'est-ce qui est en train de se passer? Yasuo qui est dans la game, encore une fois, attention à pas se monter la suite, parce que derrière, on a un avec le Darius. Ça va faire mal sur la super. S2, ici, retour neutral, les batailles ont été fait, on va falloir faire gaffe à comment ça recule Yasuo. On va pouvoir confirmer de la part de Wawa. Non, ça a bursté, utilisation des ressources libres, et on retourne ici dans l'offensive pour mettre l'adversaire au corner.
Il faut absolument se sortir de ces shenanigans d'un côté Wawa, sinon ça va être très compliqué. Encore une fois, la défense qui est bonne, on ne faut pas craquer là-dessus, c'est tellement dommage. Et Coty qui va mourir là-dessus, et c'est donc à forte affaire, mais avec le side switch d'entrée de jeu, on remet les pendules à l'heure, et cooldown des deux côtés, ce sera Yasuo Darius pour en terminer.
Yasuo Darius pour la fin les gars, je sais absolument pas comment ça va se passer.
Aïe aïe aïe.
Non.
Oh, ça a bien fait. Oh là là, le pari là-dessus, mon gars, la lucidité de Superman est un partout.
Un partout.
Un partout, ouais.
Un partout. Ah, ils sont où les Français là? Vous laissez pas faire là? Comment ça vous les laissez chez vous?
On est chez nous là, les Français là, merci.
Vous êtes là, vous dormez là.
Voilà.
Il est 20h, vous dormez déjà les gars là. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Faut rentrer à la maison, bordel. Allez, ouverture trouvée ici avec le change de la part de Wawa, cette fois-ci qui est à l'offensive. Arc up down dans le corner, en bas c'est top le kick c'est Mekké, de attaque malheureusement qui va encore une fois passer. R2 a réussi, il envoie un point d'ouverture. On est de retour au sol, on retrouve une ouverture derrière. C'est confirmé directement. La super level 1 Echo va prendre le premier personnage de Super League.
Ouais, c'est bien joué. Je trouve que voilà, se concentrer sur le Darius. Oh, mais c'est plutôt une bonne idée. Parce que Darius il fait quand même énormément de boulot pour Super Nous. Et là, ça fait vraiment les affaires de Wawa. Très bonne entière ici de la part du joueur français pour aller ramasser cette écho qui est un petit peu trop chez lui. Allez, super assist. Super install, pardon. On va pouvoir ici trouver peut-être quelque chose. Ici, Darius qui permet encore une fois à Super Nous de couvrir ses arrières. Mais le ramassage scolaire avec son Yasuo. Super into super parce que c'est les privilèges. Évidemment, le L3 et on coupe la lune en deux.
Exactement. Mood killer boys.
Et ouais.
Killer mood boys. Donc choix stratégique de la part du Super League qui décide de garder son break. Forcément. Très bon choix. Voilà, et là on danse là.
Voilà, ça me plaît mieux là.
Là on danse, là on danse.
Merci. Allez, ici, magnifique entière de la part du Yasuo pour aller mettre le Darius à mal. On installe immédiatement le wind wall pour empêcher ce Darius de s'échapper. On va faire un tag ici. C'est dommage d'avoir raté un petit peu la fin. Ça va permettre à Super Nous de reprendre de l'air. Mais voilà, retour en neutral. Side switch avec le Yasuo. Et on retrouve ici une ouverture en offensive pour Wawa.
Allez, c'est parfait, on est en neutral ici, on va pousser tranquillement avec les Knights. On essaie de peut-être faire sauter la garde. Voilà, le katana, dis-moi la taille du katana. Yasuo qui lui permet d'aller trouver l'ouverture sur son adversaire. Tranquillement, les deux dans le corner, il avec les spéciaux aériens.
Voilà.
On ramène au sol, OTG, 22 hit combo. Ça termine la première barre de vie. Darius sera donc tout seul pour faire face au cauchemar Yasuo et Echo.
Allez, effectivement, avec Cauchemar, je pense que c'est le mot qui regarde ce qu'il a à défendre. Super Nous, il ne laisse pas respirer Wawa. On s'est trouvé là-dessus. Il n'y a pas eu de follow-up. C'est pas grave, on va prendre cette shot. Et c'est tant pis, c'est pas grave. Il s'en fiche, Wawa. Parce que là, c'est 2-0 contre Super Nous. On a une game peut-être de remporter ce tournoi. Wawa, le prodige français qui ne fait pas mentir les pronostics.
Eh oui, madame, prodige français, mais j'ai envie de dire le travailleur français. Parce que dès qu'il se sort, il joue 16 heures par jour. Il bosse plus que les 3/4 des joueurs présents sur le jeu. Donc on ne va pas lui retirer tout le travail qu'il accomplit sur le jeu pour atteindre ce niveau de jeu aussi rapidement. En tout cas, mesdames et messieurs, l'OTG qui a été bien raté. Get up attack de la part du Super Nunu. Si on va faire de recapture, qui lui permet d'avoir le combo. Switch pour faire entrer Yasuo. C'est validé. Wall bounce. On enchaîne tranquillement. On est un peu en retard malheureusement pour 40 le burst. Et on retourne en neutral libre entre Darius et Yasuo.
Ah, c'est incroyable à quel point Wawa il est tellement bon sur ces phases de neutral avec Yasuo. Il est vraiment avant, il sent tous qu'il peut contrôler l'espace avec son katana, avec la pression qu'il peut mettre. C'est bien trouvé par contre ici la poche aérienne par Super Noon. On va rappeler évidemment Darius pour faire les gros dégâts, rattraper OTG super et mettre le feu.
Top avant, encore une fois il y avait 3 mètres combo. Le burst qui a été 40 là ça va pas être beau. Heureusement on a pu entre temps quand même changer de personnage. Yasuo qui mange la max. Le combo a été droppé néanmoins de la part de Super Noon. L'assist s'est fait terrasser. Yasuo est tout seul dans le corner, il va falloir se sortir mon chef parce que là sinon Super Noon est bien parti pour remporter ce premier round. Ouverture trouvée sur le balai. Tranquillement essaye de confirmer de la part de Wawa qui normalement pourra ramener au corner. On a 3 barres de meter. Est-ce qu'on va dépenser? Je ne pense pas. En tout cas il y a un autre qui à aller chercher lui.
Ah, il y a clairement un autre item à aller chercher. Ici Super Noon qui s'en sort bien. Hein. Il va mettre le bleed, ça va faire énormément de dégâts à la barre de Digris de CSGO. Regarde la barre de Digris qu'il a à gérer. On va voir une wall, c'est bien joué ça. Ah mais le side switch qui était un peu présomptueux. Super Noon qui reprend du poil de la bête.
C'est bien, c'est magnifique. On a pas de vraiment stylé. Ça a provoqué du coup un transdown. Il est passé de l'autre côté, il a pu avoir une capture. C'est des bonnes embrouilles. Le 2X en tout cas comme le freestyle peuvent donner de
Oh
bonnes
là
embrouilles.
là.
On a Paris ici tranquillement. On pousse dans le retreating guard. Tu t'es fait attraper mon chef. Donc c'est ouverture garantie derrière. Totalement convertie par le poteau Wawa. Encore une fois on est dans le corner. Mais bon c'est l'American Reset qui est en train de passer possiblement. Peut-être celui-ci. On n'a pas les barres de meter mais si on arrive à optimiser, normalement ça devrait être assez pour tuer.
Ouais, c'est bon, c'est bien optimisé. Optimisation Station.
Balle de match
de Wawa. Potentiel balle de match à aller chercher. Il y a encore ce Darius qu'il faut gérer avant de trouver la barre de la balle de match quand même. Il faut pas s'endormir au volant côté Wawa. Super Noon qui essaye, qui la tentative d'approche, mais Yasuo qui est tellement bon. Regarde à quel point il fait tellement de choses avec ce Yasuo, avec ses approches. Son Yasuo qui est tellement bon dans sa mobilité, qui fait tellement de choses. Attention, il y a quand même le Fury dans la poche de Super Noon. Ça peut faire très mal.
Moi, je pense qu'il garde le Fury.
Ouais, je pense qu'il va le garder.
Bien évidemment, on garde le Fury parce que derrière, même s'il perd le round, on revient partout. Wawa qui est en balle de match, mesdames et messieurs. Et c'est maintenant que ça va être chaud parce qu'on a des deux côtés le break, on a des deux côtés une barre de metteur chacun. On est absolument égalité en termes de ressources. Le meilleur joueur remportera le tournoi.
Ah ouais, là-dessus, là, énorme jumping d'entrée de jeu. On a complètement carotte le projectile. Super Mundo, Mur qui est déjà obligé d'utiliser son break et qui va, je pense, s'en mordre les doigts. Oh, dommage d'avoir un tête de gueule là-dessus. Les casse la tête, c'est pas grave, on repart en neutral. Ça trouve ici la conversion, le happy birthday sur les deux persos. Ah, attention, il faut pas être trop présomptueux avec Yasuo. Ça trouve ici quand même la conversion avec le Yasuo pour amener le Echo au mur. Oh, c'est tellement serré le scramble ici. On rattrape quand même le Echo et ça va tuer. Protégé. Il manque plus que le Darius. Et là, Wawa, il est tellement bien.
Là, ça va être chaud les gars. On a la balle à aller chercher. Décalage shot. C'est terminé. C'est terminé. C'est terminé. Wawa devient votre champion de l'évolution 2XKO, mesdames et messieurs.
Magnifique performance. Wawa, dont le succès n'est plus approuvé, dont le talent et le travail ne sont plus approuvés. Ça y est, c'est le premier champion de l'Evo France sur 2XKO.
J'ai envie de dire, victoire logique. J'ai envie de dire, c'était les pronos.
C'était les pronos. Il a juste pas fait mentir les pronos.
Il a juste pas fait mentir les pronos. Je m'attendais quand même à une finale contre Sonic Fox. Mais du coup, c'est Wawa qui a affronté Super Noon. La Super Noon, je ne m'attendais pas en grande finale personnellement. Donc personnellement, je suis super content de le voir ici. Et l'année suivante dans le tournoi, il dose la bêta. Et j'espère qu'il va continuer. J'espère qu'il va être là pour toute la saison 0 et la saison 1 du jeu qui arrivera l'année prochaine. Sur mode la version du sol, je vous pose plein de fois la question sur le chat. Voilà.
Ça arrivera les gars, ça arrivera, il y travaille.
Là.
Oh, quelle grande finale, Wawa en maîtrise, en patrie, chez lui, sur ses terres à Nice. Ça fait hyper plaisir.
Ouais, on passe chez nous, on passe sur nous. J'espère qu'à la maison, vous avez kiffé le chat. 20 heures de stream sur 2 jours. Une flopée de commentateurs qui étaient présents pour vous mettre l'ambiance sur cet événement. Si vous ne faites pas de partie de la FGC ou que vous ne jouez pas au jeu de combat de base, rejoignez la communauté des frères. Parce que c'est exceptionnel ce qui se passe dans la FGC à tous les niveaux. Vous allez commencer par des wifi, des bimonsli, des petits majors, vont terminer ensuite à l'Evo et possiblement écrire votre histoire. Vive, quel week-end exceptionnel.
Ça a été incroyable, franchement. Je suis parti depuis 2 jours, mais c'est que des bonnes ambiances. Le tournoi sur 2XKO, il a été absolument fantastique.
ça à Riot, maintenant c'est à moi maintenant. Maintenant
C'est
je
à
vais
nous
dire.
maintenant. Regardez, comme ils sont beaux. En tout cas, ouais, un tournoi absolument magnifique. Les Français qui ont brillé. On pense à Wawa évidemment, mais on pense aussi à Senshi qui a fait une
Senshi,
super
7e place.
performance. 7ème place, effectivement.
Yokai
Les
Wade,
Américains,
9e place.
9ème place, effectivement,
C'est
de
beau.
Yokai Wade. Les Américains qui étaient venus en force, mais qui n'ont pas réussi à triompher de nos Français sur nos terres. Et ça fait hyper plaisir.
Plaisir partagé en tout cas. La France a un grand avenir sur le Discao comme la France avait, a
D'accord.
eu et a toujours un grand avenir sur Dragon Ball Fighters. On rappelle qu'on a quand même eu 3 Français dans le top 8 de Dragon Ball Fighters, dont une 3ème place pour 3D. Et là aujourd'hui on a quand même une première place pour le Discao côté Wawa. Donc
Et
je peux
ouais.
dire que la France n'est absolument pas gratuite sur les air lashers et les tactiles. En tout cas, Liv, j'ai fini de raconter ma vie, on va passer à la remise des médailles. Et on va commencer tout de suite, s'il vous plaît, avec la 3ème place, Sonic Fox. Sonic Fox qui récupère donc la médaille de bronze sur le Discao. On rappelle qu'il est 8 fois champion de l'Evo.
Quel
Injustice,
palmarès.
Mortal Kombat, Dragon Ball Fighters, Skullgirls et encore je ne sais combien de jeux. Il a gagné des major tournaments sur plus d'une quinzaine de jeux différents. Il a fait le déplacement des États-Unis à la France, rien que pour le Discao.
Et ouais.
Aucun jeu de la main list. Il était présent aujourd'hui, il a fait une magnifique 3ème place. GG à Sonic Fox.
Un gros GG à lui. Il a déçu des pronostics pas dans le bon sens.
Pas dans le bon sens,
Mais-
malheureusement, je l'attendais avec 2ème place.
Mais voilà,
Il a fait une
3ème place en tout cas, et gros GG à lui. On va du coup pouvoir passer à la 2ème place. Il a lui aussi réussi son coup en représentant les États-Unis. Il n'a certes pas d'effet Wawa, mais il n'a pas démérité. Mesdames et messieurs, Super Noon.
Le S,
Le S.
notre feu.
Et ouais, une très belle 2ème place pour Super Noon, alors qu'il avait l'air de se poser des questions après la grande finale.
Ouais.
Qui peut-être, je pense, va étudier tout ça à la maison pour tirer le meilleur parti possible de cette défaite, mais qui en tout cas n'a pas démérité, qui nous donne une très très belle victoire.
Exactement, tout à fait d'accord avec Paul. Super Noon a été magnifique, une 2ème place à laquelle je n'attendais pas aujourd'hui. Il est venu la récupérer et poser un petit statement en France. Mais assez parlé, mesdames et messieurs.
Et oui.
On sait tous pourquoi vous êtes venus ici. Il l'attendait depuis 3 ans. Il a tenu sa promesse. Premier major de Discao. Il ramène la victoire. Après un championnat du monde sur des BMZ et un niveau sur des BMZ, il est présent aujourd'hui dans sa ville natale pour mettre la max. Mesdames et messieurs, Wawa!
Oh, qu'il est beau notre joueur français. Il est beau. Il a réussi son coup. Il a tenu sa promesse. Ici sur ces terres à Nice pour représenter la France et nous rendre tous fiers. Wawa, notre vainqueur aujourd'hui sur ce premier major de Discao.
Merci à tous. Merci à toi, Liv. Merci à tous les casteurs qui sont passés sur la chaîne pendant ce week-end. Merci à la régie qui a été présente. Merci beaucoup à Riot qui nous a fait confiance pour le tournoi, le crew du mix-up. Il est vraiment phénoménal. Je vais casser la télé, moi. On n'a rien vu. En tout cas, c'est beau. Cette belle image nous a transmise. La régie, si c'est bon pour vous, on va rendre l'antenne avec Liv. On vous embrasse. Vous avez été les meilleurs pendant tout ce week-end.
On fait plein de
Peace and love.
Merci à tous.
struggled with these same issues when picking up the game, but have cracked the code and now know how to cook. 2xKO is complex, but if you peel back the layers, there is a small core set of fundamental skills that can exponentially increase both your win rate and enjoyment of the game. We'll break down the 5 key elements to understand in order to level up your gameplay, but theory alone isn't enough, so stick to the end of each section for easy to follow drills to get you ready to competently play 2xKO fast. So the main thing to understand about 2xKO is that it is a chain-based input system. You have 5 attack buttons, light, medium, heavy, S1, and S2, and you're able to chain cancel into the next one. So Street Fighter players might be more familiar with a link-based system where you press one move, you wait for it to fully recover, and then you're able to press the next move in your combo or block string and have it come out. In this game, it's all like a target combo if you're familiar with Street Fighter. Light can cancel to medium, and medium can cancel to heavy, and there's actually a large cancel window. No matter what, if you just daisy chain it in, right? Light, medium, heavy, dial it in, it'll occur. I press these buttons really fast, they all just come out one after the other. But I can also stagger these button timings, and this is the whole mix-up of the game. You can keep the opponent guessing on when you're going to use what option, and that's what eventually leads them to being opened up because they're scared of you resetting your pressure and stealing turns, and they want to mash buttons to get you off of them. If they were to block forever, if you do your basic light, medium, heavy string, which is universal, this is what you should memorize and get familiar with pressing, light, medium, heavy, that's fine if they just block it out. However, there is a chance that you can do light and then just dash up and grab. That's an incentive for them to challenge because you can do that if they're blocking everything and just clamming up. But if I try to dash up jab here, or dash up grab, and they mash buttons, they're going to interrupt me and potentially get a full combo. So there's the potential mind game. What if they think I'm going to do dash up grab and they want to stop me? Well, why don't I just delay my button timing a little bit to bait out their button? They try to press a button there and I get a counter hit, and I can convert that counter hit to a combo. That's the basic strike throw mix that applies to 2xKO. That's about delaying, feeling the cancel window of the light, medium, heavy chain. Now, of course, you can extend this and keep your turn going for longer with assists. The basic assist extension is just light, medium, heavy, and assist. You just press it there to bring them back in, and once they get brought in, here with Blitzcrank, for example, I just press medium, heavy to keep the sequence going. Now, of course, other assists are going to have different effects, and there's also back assists, as well as neutral assist, so it's going to vary based on your character and your assist options. So figure out what assist works best for building these block streams, but generally you're going to do something like light, medium, heavy assist, and then medium, heavy, basic block stream. The main thing to wrap your head around is the assist should be treated like another attack button. So in this chain, I'm doing light, medium, heavy assist with the same tempo, and then I just visually confirm when the assist hits, and then I press medium, heavy. So you just have to loop this sequence to get your muscle memory around all these different moves and to just keep the flow of the gameplay going. It's very mind-bending for someone not used to assist. It took me a decent number of hours in training mode and in-game to be able to pull off this basic string. So don't undersell this basic training here. This will help you really build that muscle memory. And once you have the assist involved, once again, you have the same variations to mix up your timing. So I can do this assist here, and then I can delay my timing here. The assist could even be used for a combo potentially. So you keep building these layers, and eventually your strings become more and more deadly and dangerous to the opponent. Another option for opening up the opponent is charged heavies. I really like this because it's easy to incorporate in this string. Charged heavies, if you hold the button, become really plus on block and also allow you to dash cancel to get in for more pressure. So if I dash cancel after it connects, I'm plus 31 there. So basically, it catches them asleep at the wheel and lets you extend your turn. Now, obviously, this could be parried or interrupted with a button. So if they're not scared of your other tighter strings, they're just going to interrupt your charge heavy attempt if you're close enough, right? But once again, if I don't charge the heavy, they will just get frame trapped, and you can get a combo from that. So they're not going to always know once you keep mixing them up what you're going to do. So if they're clamming up a lot, mix in the charge heavy, dash up, and then do your pressure string again. This is another way to extend your turn and get more offense. The main takeaway from this is that when you're pressing buttons, you shouldn't be mashing through your sequence as fast as possible. The game is about timing each button press and paying attention to the defender, your opponent, and seeing what they're doing. Are they blocking this sequence? Are they getting hit? Are they mashing? Are they attempting to retreat and guard? Once you get into the more advanced mechanics, it should be an engaging game where you're paying attention and mixing up your timings and options of when you cancel each thing, and sometimes resetting for a throw, sometimes mixing in a charge heavy to dash in, sometimes resetting your strings with the assist, right? Once you get more and more fluid with feeling the inputs, you can keep stealing and resetting your pressure rather than autopiloting through the string and ending your turns as fast as possible and getting nothing from it. Main drill to practice here. You need to get used to the basic light, medium, heavy, assist timing, medium, heavy. This should just be something that you can do fluidly and keep them in a tight block string. You're going to set the dummy to block all under the bot setting to block settings always. And then under the reversal setting, you're going to set block recovery action to a light punch. And once you start making contact, it should just be a continuous string where no button comes out the entire time. And you can start getting more comfortable with adding extensions, mixing in special moves, but this is a basic string that should get you used to the input timing. Once you have that down, you're going to mix in delay timings and potentially try to convert. We haven't covered combos yet, but if you have a combo, you can try going for it here. And you're just going to work on building these blocks together, delay some timings here, and keep the conversions going. Keep your momentum going no matter what response the dummy does. We can keep building on top of this and add these do nothing options here. So if you turn on all these none options under block recovery, 4 out of the 5 times, the dummy will do nothing but block, and 1 out of 5, the dummy will press light punch. So it makes it really rare when they're actually going to press the light punch option. So once we start doing that, we can mix in all these different variations, and then just practice like keeping the offense going, reset if we need to. And the idea being, if they get hit at any point, you should try to convert to a combo. So keep looping this kind of pressure and sequencing, and just get used to playing the game with an opponent who mostly blocks. See, every once in a while you're going to get hit. And just work on your pressure game. Now that you have your basic string with an assist included, it's time to add the active tag to the mix where things really start to melt the brain. So we go back to our light, medium, heavy assist string here. We can keep this going even further by doing an active tag. So the way active tag operates is after your assist comes out, you can actually tag into them once they're on screen, and that can happen very late after the assist. So the assist really kind of sits around. You can see Blitzcrank here is like laughing in the background. So while I'm doing all this, I can tag in really late before they fly off screen. So you have a lot of time to eventually input the active tag. So you control your point character for a while, and then when you're ready, you can then tag into the assist character. And this gets really complex. There's a lot of different opportunities for mix-up and reset and pressure with this mechanic. It's a really high-level mechanic to master, but for a basic sequence to get you started, we'll build on what we know. Light, medium, heavy assist, medium, heavy, tag. So the goal here is to keep the block string going. So I'm going to tag into Blitzcrank here and dash up and do medium, heavy, S2 as a block string. The way I'm timing this is I press medium, heavy with Darius, and then I immediately press the assist button. So the axe swing from the heavy punch is starting up, and I already tagged into Blitzcrank, and then I can dash at him during that time to keep the momentum going. So the main thing here is to just feel that rhythm of going medium, heavy, tag, and then dashing and immediately switching your focus to controlling Blitzcrank and continuing the pressure. This will be a brain bender for a while, right? This will mess you up if you're not used to this sort of mechanic, and it's okay. Just keep looping this kind of a sequence, and eventually you'll be able to confidently switch into your character. And this is the basic building block right here. This is what gets it all started to getting really complex combos, mix-ups, and applications of this handshake tag. Once you have that down, it's time for your first tag mix-up. It's going to be Baby's first active tag mix. So let's get an example going. So for the first mix, I'm going to be having the dummy do the sequence. I'm going to hold down back here, and you can see, boom, I get hit in the dome. Active tag mix to overhead. So this is basically doing your light, medium, heavy string to an S2 extension to the assist. So once you master that assist timing, all you have to do is press overhead and then active tag right out. You have to time this so that the overhead hits first. So it's down forward medium with Darius, and then you tag out and you can get a combo with your assist character. And this is actually, hitting overhead and forcing me to stand if I want to block this. However, of course, there is a mix-up here. So in this variation, I'm going to hold back instead, predicting the overhead. And you see I get hit low. Spooky. Is it unblockable? Not quite. You see the rule here is you need to block the point character. So in this example where it actually hits low, I'm tagging right before the overhead hits and then going into Blitzcrank and going low. So yes, it looks like that overhead is on screen, but whenever the assist character is tagged out, all their attacks lose their high-low properties. They're all just mid-attacks, can be blocked either way. So in this instance, I fake you out with the overhead animation and go low with Blitzcrank before the overhead even hits, making it a low. Now, of course, there could be some normal situations where they hit really close to each other, and in this case, you can see on the bottom left, it gives me that protected notification. So if you time this mix so that it hits too close to the same frame, the game has unblockable protection. So there'll never be a true mix-up, so a true unblockable rather. So the main idea of using this yourself is to go for the overhead and then immediately tag out, or if you want to mix them up low, tag early and go low with it, right? You need to get familiar with that timing, but this is like baby's first mix-up with active tag. It incorporates your block string, it incorporates the active tagging, and incorporates an actual mix-up. So if you can get your hands to loop this sequence, you're well on your way to getting to more advanced techniques. Now let's get into some basic combo structures. Universally, light, medium, heavy, down heavy, launcher, into like jump, medium, heavy, into either S2 or S1 is going to be fairly universal. So with Darius, light, medium, heavy, down heavy is your launcher, and once you do down heavy, you're going to hold up forward to chase them up in the air, and then when you get to the air, you can press medium, heavy, and with Darius, it's just S2. So this is a really basic combo conversion, and it's fairly universal across most of the cast. With Blitzcrank, for example, it would be light, medium, heavy, down heavy, which causes the launcher, up forward, medium, heavy, and for him, I will do S1 to bring him down and end the combo. Now, generally, once that's done, most characters have a super. It's either going to be with your S1 and a button or S2 and a button, your super 1 or super 2, and you'll see what super connects in that situation. Many characters have a super that will hit on the ground, like in this situation. With Blitzcrank, that's S1, and same thing with Darius and his same combo structure ender here. It would be S1 in this situation as well. This is all fairly universal. To get into more advanced combos, just like your block strings, the way the combo system works is based on your delay timings. So with Blitzcrank, for example, after I get this launcher, he has this whole relaunch sequence that you can access, and the secret to the relaunch is doing a delay on that last jump heavy punch. It's a real minor delay, but that allows the opponent to then fall low enough to hit the down heavy launcher if you time it correctly. So getting that launcher at the end requires a very tiny delay from the down heavy to the jump heavy in that combo sequence to make it work. Of course, there's also assist extensions which can either be used to extend combos or to help pick up awkward hits. It's going to be very team specific. So like a basic example here would be light, medium, heavy into forward S2 with Blitzcrank. This is a good conversion when spaced out because my launcher can't reach from that range, right? My basic combo that I taught you doesn't work. So how do I pick that up? Well, I can do forward S2 to my back assist with Darius here, and that actually pops up the opponent. And then I can do a launcher and go back to my basic combo. So that's one basic assist extension, kind of like your block string timing. So if you find one with your team, you could practice this, but this is a little bit more advanced for beginners, but definitely worth looking into in the future. This is generally the secret of more advanced combo conversions that you're going to see in this game. It's all about manipulating the timing to either allow the opponent to fall lower or using certain moves that knock them up higher to get the right juggle heights to get these combos going. So that's going to be what you're going to look into as you learn more advanced combo routes, and that's how the combo routing system works if you're not familiar with how combos in a tag game like this kind of operate. The other thing to understand is the more hits you do, there's going to be more hits done scaling. So things that would normally combo in the beginning of a combo, as you go much later on in the combo, they stop being able to connect because the hit stun, the property that keeps them locked into place. You see there, my medium to heavy doesn't combo. I did too many hits before going for that sequence, and you can see in the training mode, it says hit stun scaling has increased. So you'll learn over time when to start ending your combos and how to end them early enough so that you don't run out of hit stun scaling, which would prevent you to make your next move connect. That is the basis of the combo system. If you want basic B&Bs for all the characters, SageN put out a really good guide going over just basic combos for every character. As a beginner, these advanced rules will come way down the road. I just wanted to give you a preview of how the combo system works. All you need is a basic light, medium, heavy, down heavy launcher, medium heavy into S1 or S2, and then if you got that super, go ahead and tack on that super at the end as well. Very easy B&B, and this will be what you lead into from your basic block string conversions. Basic drill to work on your basic combo conversions. The setting you want under bots is to have the block setting set to after first hit. So if I don't properly time my light, medium, heavy, I put too much of a delay, they'll start blocking here. So you want to see this basic combo connect all the way and just loop this, just get familiar with the timing and even start delay canceling, especially on like the heavier hits. You'll be surprised how much time you have to hit confirm essentially. Like I can really delay from stand heavy, my crouch heavy. You don't have to rush these always as fast as possible. You have to go faster from the lights, but once you get into a heavy, man, you have some time. Same thing with Darius here, for example. Can't delay that much, but potentially you got time from the heavy. Get a good feel for how slow and methodical you can take these combos and understand the hit stun and get a feel for timing your buttons without rushing. Next, once you're comfortable with that combo conversion, it's time to bring it all together. We're going to go ahead and turn on all of these different settings we had in training mode. So we're going to have the reversal section on here for after block, turn on the light punch option and the none for the other four. And also on bots, you can do things like turn the block setting on to random. And now time to do your block strings and then work on conversion. So I got the hit there, I'm going to go into my launcher, do a basic B&B, right? So just loop these kind of sequences. Use the assist to pick up. I'm doing a bit slightly more advanced combos. You can keep it a lot more simple if you want and just do a basic B&B. Oh, see there, I'm going to keep my pressure going like I practiced before with the active tag. They blocked it all out. They just get hit. Just go to your launcher and do your basic medium heavy into special move. They're blocking here, so I'm calling the assist. You know, mix in your options, right? Just get familiar with pressing these buttons. Good blocks from the dummy there. And then when you get the hit, convert. Looping a sequence like this with this system will greatly speed up your rate of learning the muscle memory and quickly applying this in the real matches. Now all the block string training and combo training doesn't matter if you actually can't land a hit in neutral, and the neutral game is played a lot differently. Here's where having a dash macro really comes in handy. You absolutely want to have this button bound to something so you can dash and move around the screen. You're going to be wanting to move in and out of range and faking out where you are on screen to bait out button presses and make the opponent try to check your movement. They might swing a button thinking you're going to dash in, and that's when you dash back and you actually end up whip punishing them instead. Or you do dash all the way in and go for a throw. It's kind of a game of chicken between you and the opponent with this sort of movement option baiting each other out. Then of course you have options like jump heavy and even charge jump heavies for even more additional block start, right? So a common option is to like backdash out of range, jump back in, catch them sleeping, convert to a full combo. Once you add assists to the mix, it becomes a lot more complex. A common strategy is to simply do a forward advancing special move. So something like Darius S2 plus assist there, that's an option. Maybe I can do one with Blitzcrank here. I'll do like forward S2 in the air here, and then I'll just call my Darius assist right after. If it hits them, I can get a combo, and if they happen to block, I can get in for pressure. So kind of a shortcut to neutral right there. Lets you get in. Now, if you have a really strong assist like Blitzcrank, you can kind of just hold your ground out here, maybe throw some projectiles, and then after you do an action, call the assist, right? It can really help throw off the opponent and keep them mixed up. He also has back assist, which calls out the air. So while you control the ground, you can call the back assist from Blitzcrank to get the air going. And then once you actually call them, if you need to get out of that situation, you can active tag your assist back here and cover for your point character. but you really want to mix in your options of using your assist to cover you while you do some kind of advancing move, or covering your assist while they try to cover the ground for you. Now on the defending end, anti-airs in this game are pretty good, man. Like the 2H, really strong option. So after you're moving around, if you see the opponent jump at you, 2H and then hold up forward to get the combo going. You can stop a lot of aggressive approaches by just being ready to anti-air. Anti-airs will actually get you really far in this game. So 2H is a universal option, holding down and heavy to hit the opponent, and then once you press the button, hold up forward and get your basic medium heavy special combo conversion, and in your super. Get some damage for an opponent being aggressive with their jumps. Now if you're trying to check the opponent's movement in neutral as well, one thing to keep in mind, especially if you're a Street Fighter player, is the lights in this game have really short range. So like even if you try to check someone for like approaching at you, your lights can just whiff or like not really convert. So like there are good buttons with challenging up close, but in a lot of situations, man, the lights just don't do it like they would in a Street Fighter title. Your best option for most characters is medium. Medium is the go-to button for challenging on both defense usually and in neutral. So if you're trying to catch someone's movement, you often want to do something like press a medium and then chain that to your heavy and then call your assists to pick it up. Go into your block string training when you finally try to check their movement and use those mechanics to keep things going, and then make it your turn when it was their turn originally. So one option for practicing neutral is to just play the game a lot more and pay attention to how you're moving around the screen and when you're calling your assist. But also you can theoretically play the CPU, it's not bad. I suggest turning the ult meter settings to normal and the break meter settings to normal and the basic settings so that they're not just constantly spamming supers. And then you can turn the CPU up to like level 6 or higher. I mean even level 8 CPU is pretty good. And then you just play the game, and then you know if they try to do something crazy, you do your anti-air assists, you throw your fireball, and you play the game, right? If they try to jump at you, use your own 2H, get your block strings going, use your assist. I think it's just pretty good practice overall, just to move around and get familiar with the game, learn when to jump in, learn when to get your combo conversions. So I don't think it's a terrible idea to play against the CPU to practice, especially getting familiar with pressing the buttons in the right sequence. One thing to understand about defense in this game is that blocking is kind of good at lower level in the sense that throws aren't really a looping offensive situation for the most part. At a higher level, the main idea is to just avoid being in a bad situation by winning neutral and not being forced to block, because the mix-ups do get grimy, not gonna lie. But generally there's no throw loops. Now, there is a lot of throw protection on Wake Up. Funny enough, Darius is a character who can get throw looped, I believe, but other characters, if they wake up mashing light, they'll actually interrupt a throw loop sequence, so it's not really part of the game. Also, there's not really block strings into throws in that kind of sense. Like you're not going to have a true tick throw, so it can happen occasionally, but for the most part, people are going to have to like dash up and try to reset the situation to get a throw, so buttons will beat those kind of attempts most of the time. But in general, defensively, you're going to want to block low, just like a Street Fighter title, and react to the overhead. That's the general theme of how blocking works. And look out for the assist call and the active tag. It gets really confusing once the opponent starts using a lot of active tags, right? Like you start getting mixed up on who is what character. You'll have the arrows above the opponent's head if they're tagging characters to let you know which one is the point character that can help you give a visual indicator. But you're looking to block the point character and learn the moves that they're using and react to those accordingly. Now, of course, it's always good to try to check reset pressure. Generally, you can press lights if they're kind of far away, if they're kind of up close rather. But like I said, even in this situation, if the opponent mashes a light here, I can just reset my pressure, and the lights just have no range. So I think a common trap I fell into was trying to check pressure with gaps with lights. It is good occasionally, but really you're going to want to use a lot of mediums to interrupt people from resetting their pressure, because the lights just do not have range, and the mediums and heavy have such absurd range compared to like a normal 2D fighter. So you're going to want to use a lot of mediums when trying to challenge people from overextending and from keeping their offense going if they leave gaps in it. Mediums are the way. Mashing lights will often leave you very upset when it whiffs and they kill you instead. So to practice defense, I recommend, of course, playing the game for real, but also, once again, playing against the CPU. You're going to want to look for throw text by looking for dash ups, and generally that's when you're going to have your fingers hovering over medium and heavy to tech the throw, and the see there, I just tech that throw right there by seeing that Blitzcrank ran at me. This will help you practice your neutral as well, and then you're going to practice just blocking the character. The CP looks to go for a lot of grabs, but in general, it'll help you work on just being aware of what's going on screen, and eventually you can work in things like using parries or other options, knowing when to take your turn back and their strings as well, seeing how to deal with this kind of a situation in the corner. So keep playing the CPU, keep playing real matches, and look to actively block and throw tech when appropriate. Those are the basic building blocks I think every 2XKO beginner needs to start playing the game competently. It's critically important to get a good feel for the chain cancel system and learn how to structure your combos, your block strings, and your mix-ups, and just really feel how the offensive flow works even with the basic mechanics. Once you have a solid understanding of those systems and inputs and can feel the muscle memory entering your hands, you can then look into understanding more advanced mechanics like on defense using parry, retreating guard, and push block. Also using tech roll and wake up attack when you get knocked down. And then on offense, how to beat those things, like using your low strings to counter retreating guard, looking for the push block and then countering with your own assist, and of course chasing down tech rolls with throws to punish and baiting out these wake up attacks. This game is very deep and has a ton of mechanics, so it's a long journey, but with these basic building blocks, I'm sure you're on the road to success. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Hello and welcome to the Beginner's Guide to 2XKO. So 2XKO is now in closed beta and it's sort of out. In that this closed beta will never end until the game's actually out. So since there's going to be a lot of people at it over the duration of this beta and you want to know how to play the game, I figured let's do the beginner's video where I just kind of go over how everything in the game works. So this will probably be a little bit longer. There'll be timestamps, so skip forward to whatever sections of the game make sense for you. And hey, leave a like for timestamps. Thank you very much. But yeah, so the game's pretty mechanically in-depth. There's a lot to go over here to say the least. So let's start with just sort of the basics before everything else. So let's start with the absolute basics. Hey, this is a 2D fighter, and 2XKO, hey, tags, assists, all that kind of stuff, big part of the game. You are playing both characters, and you'll use both characters a lot. Unless you pick very specific fuses, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, in a lot of ways, it's kind of the basic 2D fighter stuff. This is a back-to-block game, so hold back, you block. And hold back, you'll block mids and overheads. So overheads could be things like jumping attacks, or moves just keyed to hit overhead. So those you got to stand block, and hold down back, and crouch block, and you'll block all mids and lows. So lows are basically most crouching attacks. A little bit fighting game 101, but hey, there's the basics. I'm keeping with the basics. So our attack buttons, we have lights, we have mediums, and we have heavies. And this is the kind of game where you can chain moves together. So you can go light into medium, medium into heavy, and of course, light, medium, heavy, sort of combos 101. Now keep in mind though, you can only go from weaker to stronger. You cannot go from stronger to weaker. So I can go light into medium, but I cannot go medium into light. Doesn't work that way. So you have to work your way upwards, up the chain. Just to note though, you can go into crouching into the same strength either way. So we can start with a crouching, go into standing, or go for a standing into a crouching, however you want to do it for the most part. So you go like light, light, medium, medium, something like that. Now, this is a game with easy inputs, as we call it. There is no quarter circle fours, half circle fours, dragon punch motions, or anything like that. We have two dedicated special move buttons here. That's special 1 and special 2. And they give you a variety of different special moves just depending on what you press and a direction. So here, special 1 for Jinx is the chain gun. It's also holdable. And say if I were to hit down in special 1, I'll instead get an exploding monkey. If I hit forward in special 1, I'll get flame chompers. If I hit back in special 1, I'll get an upwards angle to the chain gun shot, right? So basically the two special move buttons are special moves in and of themselves. And depending on which direction you press, you might get a different move. So there's no need to know any special move motions at all. And of course, hey, it's a fighting game, we have super moves, right? So super moves are just done by hitting one of your special buttons and any attack button. So special 1 in attack button will be one level 1 super, and then it'll just work out that way. Special 2 in any attack button will be your other level 1 super. And if you hit both specials together, that's your big cinematic level 3 super, which does like the most damage and is cool. Basic fighting game stuff. One thing to note here about the super moves though, when you start a fight, you'll start with 1 meter for both of your two characters. And you cannot save those meters between rounds. So if you do not spend that meter right away, you will lose it at the end of the round. So you are highly incentivized to spend all that meter as soon as possible. Besides all that, there's some basic fighting game movement. Like if you double tap backwards, you can backdash. If you double tap forwards, you can run. And that's mostly the same for all characters. Even big boys like Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank will run. Maybe he won't run as fast as some of the other characters, but he can still run. There's also a dash macro if you want to use it. You can bind a button, just be dash without having to use movements themselves, which can lead to pretty quick backdashes if you just kind of spam the button. And there's jumping, and that's mostly the only universal besides that and super jumps. Super jump just count down then up before you jump. And to note here, a jump and a super jump have different animations. Like this is running jump, this is running super jump for Jinx. So you can see, you can easily tell which is which, right? So super jump just jumps higher. But things like, say, a double jump or air dashes, that is character specific. So take Ahri. Ahri has the traditional versus game air dashes. So she can dash in the air and very useful in pretty much every way you think it would be useful. Like I can jump in, air dash over your head, hit you with a cross up, all that kind of stuff, right? That's great, but that's really kind of just for her, like the traditional air dash you might see in some other fighting games. Echo has an air hop. It's not quite as long distance as Ahri's air dash, but he can get some extra distance while jumping, so that's something. And he cannot do it going backwards, so it's only a forward deal. So, like Ahri has better air movement than say Echo does. And take someone like Braum. Funnily enough, Braum can't do any of this air dash nonsense. He's too big, right? So he can still super jump, he can still do regular jump, he can still run, he can backdash, right? He has all that stuff. But when it comes to special advanced air movement, or just special movement in general, that's going to be more of a character-to-character thing. So you have to pay attention to what your character is capable of. Now that's some of the basic stuff. Now let's get into the basics of offense. Now to talk some of the basics of offense, of course there is throws in the game. If someone's being too defensive, you block too much, you throw them, right? And everyone has a basic throw. Some people have fancier throws, but they're not too common. Now the thing here that's actually beyond just the usual fighting game 101 of throws is a forward throw in particular is always a hard knockdown. Back throws are not hard knockdowns. We'll talk more on the defensive properties, but you can tech roll a back throw. You cannot tech roll a forward throw. And because it's a hard knockdown, you can also OTG. You can hit them off the ground. So that means besides the base throw, you can kind of sneak in an extra little hit, so you can get a little bit more damage, right? And it's character to character. Some characters are better at it than others. But some characters, if they can get you with an OTG, they can take you to the cleaners and get some pretty appreciable extra damage. So the forward throw is a lot more than just the usual fighting game basic throw. It's actually potentially a tool for combo ability and can get you some real damage on the board. And also, because this is a tag game, there is air throws as well. And air throws have very fast startup. So if you're looking to beat someone air to air, this is usually going to be one of your better options. And keep in mind, air throw, there's only one kind of air throw, even if it is forward or back. And the air throw will also be a hard knockdown. So if you're so inclined, you can use it to kind of scoop people up and get that extra damage. Another thing to note about offense is we talked about, there's light, medium, heavy attacks, right? They're all strong and all good in their own ways. Heavy attacks specifically, they allow you to hold. You see here, Braum's turning red and is holding the move. And then in this particular case, the enemy bounces after he hits him. That's unique to Braum specifically. Everyone has their own specific properties when holding heavy. Some might bounce, like the big boys. Others might cause a knockdown state here, like Jinx. But besides the fact, okay, if it's holding the move, big red, special knock state, you expect, okay, does it do more damage? And at a minimum, yeah, like stand heavy for Jinx, 80 damage. Charge heavy, 90. So it's not a lot of damage, but here's where this really matters. Like if you get the hit, great. You're probably getting some kind of combo at minimum, right? No matter what kind of knockdown it is, just because the fact they're not able to defend themselves anymore. But all the heavies that are charged, you can dash cancel them. So I can do this, dash cancel it, and then like do this, dash cancel, and like I can get multiple hits going. And that's very important, specifically on block. So regular stand heavy here for Jinx is -11 on block. Charge heavy is 0 on block. That's nice. But charge heavy, dash cancel is +31 on block. So if they stand still long enough to block one of these and you dash cancel it, it is your turn. So this is a way to sneak in extra turns, sneak in extra offense. Because if they're too passive, you don't have to worry about like trying to mix them up or trying to throw them. You just make them block. And if you make them block and dash cancel, then it's your turn no matter what. You have such incredible advantage frames over them, they have no choice but to guess. Because like any button they press is automatically going to lose when you have such incredible advantage over them if you dash cancel that hit. And keep in mind as well, many jumping heavy attacks are also chargeable in the same manner. Also, another thing about charge heavy attacks is for some characters it might actually change the attack itself. So allowing charge heavy is this guy here, which will hit you with a big steel ball. However, if you hold charge heavy, it see here has a bit of a different animation, right? And that will matter because like from here it completely whiffs. However, if you charge it, it won't. It actually almost doubles the range of the move effectively. So that's something to keep in mind. It's more than just the properties we already talked about. Like the move itself kind of fundamentally changes for Alawi if you charge the move. So something to keep in mind. There's also what we call command normal. So these aren't the usual special moves. They're under unique moves for every character. And these can be very, very strong. Because they'll add a lot to your character's flavor. This is something you need to know. Because they are unique for every character. So like say here, Darius has down forward medium, down forward heavy. Darius down forward medium is a fairly decently fast overhead. So this must be blocked standing. And down forward heavy is a very long range low. That'll knock people down. Like he has lows, like down medium to low, right? But that don't quite got the range of this guy. Down forward heavy has like almost double the range of his down medium. So when it comes to the character, it's more than just learning the special moves. The command normals, the unique attacks are very, very important. And it's more than just a direction. Like down forward medium for Echo is kind of like a stock overhead, which is really good for him. Especially because he's a character that can combo off his own overhead without even needing the assist or other parts. So it's really cool like that, right? But some characters also have unique attacks that are based off of running. So it's not just like a direction and a button. It's like you have to be running to do it. And a lot of these can be pretty cool because they have unique properties. Like say Blitzcrank's running heavy. The big old like butt stomp here, right? And that butt stomp also can off the ground and hit people who are grounded. So you can use this and hit people sometimes in ways you wouldn't otherwise get, right? So it's just really important. You got to make sure you use all the offense that's given to you. Another thing to talk about is down heavy. So I'll talk more about combo stuff in the combo section, but just I think it's important to get that out of the way here. So down heavy is like the universal launcher. So you do any hits and you do down heavy, you will spike them into the air. And from there, you can cancel into a jump and then keep your offense going. So this is very important for combo structure. Like just about anything you can think of, you're going to be needing to use that in combo structure. So just keep in mind here, whatever your hits you're going for, if you're kind of close, just go with the down heavy, you pop them up, you can jump right after and just keep attack. Now let's talk some of the basics of defense. Because defense is very important in a fighting game, right? And we'll give you an easy one to work with. Hey, this is a fighting game. People are going to jump at you, right? Like unavoidable, as predictable as the seasons, right? And the thing is, depending on what buttons you press, you might get beat. You don't want to get beat. Good thing we have down heavy. So down heavy, even though we talked about it earlier, like it's your combo launcher move, right? It is also universally for every character in the game a dedicated anti-air attack. So if you know they're going to jump at you, you can just down heavy them. And their only recourse is they had to like jump and block, because you are allowed to air block, right? But if they try to attack, it is just simply invincible to aerial attacks. Once again here, I lose, but if I do down heavy, I win. So if people jump too much, down heavy is always the answer. This is effectively a one-button dragon punch, if you will, for everybody in the game. Now, of course, there's other situations here. So let's give you some options you have on blocking defense. So you got to block. Everyone's going to block, but, nobody wants to block. That's always kind of the thing. Nobody actually wants to block, right? So you got a few things in your favor in this game in particular. So if you're blocking and you hit your partner, your tag assist, your partner will come in and shove the enemy away from you. So it'll make them miss their attacks and just give you some breathing room to work with. And depending on how you make them whiff, you actually might be able to punish their next button press they're going for, right? There is a weakness though, multiple weaknesses. One, your partner is still on the screen for a little bit afterwards. So if they get hit, they're going to get hit. And also, it will use up the assist timer. So you can't just keep doing this. You can only use this when you could otherwise normally call it an assist. So they're vulnerable to being hit for a little bit, and then it will trigger a timer. So this is not something you can just spam necessarily, although it is very strong. If you need some immediate breathing room right now, you can do it and then like try to take the offense to yourself. And besides that, there's this. Notice how I turn blue and kind of dash away from the enemy. That's retreating guard. So this does not cost anything. This is free to do. So you can use the dash macro, or you can use like the button dashing, like medium together, like whatever wants to work for you, right? But you do this and you simply backdash away from them. So that seems really strong and it's completely free. Like I can do this multiple times per block string. Is here, and like I seem to block everything, so there's like seemingly no weakness and it's free. So what's the downside, right? Well, the downside is while you do get the stand block while you're doing this, it is stand block only. So say I want to do this and the enemy's just going berserk on me again, right? Oh, that was good. What happened there? So since it's stand block only, I cannot block lows while I'm doing the retreating guard. And if you get sniped by a low, you'll get hit. And you can see here, there's a little bit of a time stop effect to let the enemy know they got the hit, so they can keep comboing you after the fact. So it is strong defensively. It's a little bit of a get off me tool, but it is completely vulnerable to lows. And even if it does work, because you know, if it works, that's great, it will still put you that much closer to the corner. Because you know, you're moving backwards, and being in the corner is never a good thing. But yeah, we have the push block here with our assist. If you're willing to burn your assist, you can push the enemy away from you very far, or you can push yourself far away, closer to the corner, completely for free with a few weaknesses. So defensively, those are both quite strong. There's also a parry mechanic, just like, you know, some of your favorite fighting games of all time. And that's either light and heavy together, or you can bind it to its own button press. And parry, hey, the game will let you know, don't worry, right? And if you parry the enemy, then you can just get free hits, get a combo, like whatever you want to do. So parry is quite strong to say the least. Like, it's only open for a very specific window. So if you do it too early, you'll still get bopped. There's an element of timing to this. You do too early, get bopped. So you need to be pretty specific. And there's regular parry and low parry. So just hold down and parry to low parry. Low parry is only for lows. It won't even get mids. You gotta basically use regular parry for just about everything else. So the majority of the attacks that are coming your way, you're gonna do the standing parry. Standing parry will also get things like jumping attacks. So if you know the jumping attack's coming, you just parry it, they'll fly off you, get a free combo. So again here, low parry, only for lows. Standing parry for everything else. And there is a cost associated with this. Parry is very strong, right? So parry takes a full super meter to do. That's a lot. But if you successfully parry, you're fully refunded on top of getting the damage you're going to get from one combo. So that's really strong that way. But if you whiff the parry, not only are you going to get hit in the head, you're also going to lose a full meter. A meter is pretty precious in this game. You don't want to lose a full meter, so only use it if you know you got it. Now, let's move on to one of the most important aspects of the game, the part where it's a team game. So let's talk about tags and assist. So tags, well, tags have their own dedicated button. So if you hit tag and literally nothing else, you'll get one of the two assists. And if you hit back and tag, then you get the other assist. Every character has 2 assists, and a special third assist if you're down a character. So say Jinx here, the forward assist or neutral assist is Chompers, and the back assist is the Rocket. If you happen to be down a character, you hit down a tag, and you'll get a special kind of assist, which is a little bit of a comeback mechanic, if you will. So it's very powerful. So this will take a meter, and when they're dead, they don't tend to meter any other way, so you might as well, right? So this could be an all-new unique move, or it could be one of their existing super moves. So think of it like a little bit of a comeback mechanic. So you can just do this while you're doing the other stuff. And when you call an assist, you can be doing just about any old thing. Like you can be moving, attacking, as long as you're just not actively blocking or getting hit, you can generally call your assist in. And of course, assist can be very handy while making combos and all sorts of other things, right? Like you'll need them just to borrow their moves, do your combos, get more. They're useful for everything under the sun. And of course, what about tags? Well, tags are also built into the assists. So whenever you call an assist, they come on screen naturally. And if you hit the tag button again, well, there they are. They just happen to be like, you got them. End of story, right? And one of the fun things is, while you can call your assist and then tag out after the fact, and they'll do like a cool little pose. And as long as they're on screen, that's when you hit tag. If they leave screen, it's too late, right? So if you get them before they finish their pose, you can tag in. but you don't have to let them finish their move. You can just call them and hit tag again immediately, and tag in basically instantaneously. Now, you don't even have to do that. You can hold tag, and you'll just swap on the spot. But say you're in the middle of a combo or a block string. Say whatever assist you have isn't conducive for your combos. You can still just do whatever you're going to do, tag them out immediately, and just keep the combo going like that way. You do not need to wait for them to do their move in any way, shape, or form. So you can hold the button to do like the hard tag, if you will, but just keep in mind, at any point when your teammate is on the screen, with rare exceptions, if they're on the screen before they do the move, after they do the move, whatever it is, as long as they're on the screen, you can tag them. Just to give you an example of one of those exceptions, because probably going to be one of the first things you're thinking about if you're a little bit of a cheater like me. So say Blitzcrank has the big command grab, right? So you want your dude on screen some way, somehow, and then while you're doing the command grab, if you whiff, you know, you don't want to whiff, right? But if you were to whiff, well, then you tag out, right? So the game will not let you do that. While you're whiffing the command grab, but won't let you tag out. So you gotta deal with the consequences of your misplay. You also cannot call your assist at all either while you're whiffing a command grab. So certain moves that have like extra long recovery, you're not allowed to call your assist or tag out if your assist is already on screen during that recovery, because they want you to take the punish. There's no get out of jail free on that move. Now, another thing about the tag button is if you hit down and the tag button while you're doing a combo, you'll do a launcher. It's like down and heavy, except it's a launcher that explicitly tags into your partner. So like if I go like regular, light, medium, heavy, and jump, sure, that's whatever. But if I do that light, medium, heavy, and then I tag in my partner, I'm slightly higher up in the air, get a bit more air mobility. He hits on the K on the combo, launches a bit higher, so you get some guaranteed follow-ups. So it's good in a lot of ways until he switches to your partner. And one of the big benefits of switching your partner, besides just, you know, hey, we're doing combos, we're getting cool stuff going on, right, is when you take damage, some of that damage you take will be gray health. And that health is recoverable health. Notice here, Ahri is now healing while she's tagged out. So on top of all the synergy you get between, you know, tagging in and out and doing all various offense, the person who is tagged out will recover their health. So that's very strong. That keeps you in the game longer. So if someone has a good and appreciable amount of gray health, you want them tagged out so you can get that health back. So it's pretty basic, I guess, in the end, but just keep in mind the essence of tagging and assist is very much at the core of what this game is. It puts at least the 2 in 2XKO, so keep that in mind. Now let's talk recovery. So there's a couple forms of recovery in this game, both for positioning and active defense. So at some point, you're going to get hit and you're going to get knocked down. It's unavoidable, right? That's part of being a fighting game. The thing is, you have some agency in that. So you don't just got to get up on the spot, unless it's a hard knockdown. If it's a hard knockdown, tough luck. But while you're getting up, you can hold forward, or you can hold backwards on most knockdowns to roll well, forwards or backwards, and you'll gain space in that direction. So if someone's pressuring you, and you know they're just going to be in your face, you can just hold forward, roll forward, and then boom, like say it right there, you're out of the corner. Or if you roll backwards, you can gain space more to mid-screen. You have some agency in that. Also, when you're getting knocked down, when you wake up, you just hold one of your 2 special buttons. It doesn't matter which one's which. You will wake up with that attack right there. That's effectively the wake up invincible reversal. So a Shoryuken and Dragon Punch, normal fighting terms. So hold either of your 2 special buttons, and this move is just simply a get off me move. It's invincible, you cannot be hit through it, and if it connects on the enemy, it will knock them back, as you can see. So you don't necessarily just gotta wake up and block, you know, or just deal with other mix-ups coming your way. If you know they're just gonna press buttons and just attack, just hold one of the 2 special buttons and wake up, boom, get off. Now, of course, there's counterplay to the bad and well. It's what we would call not terribly safe on block. If they know you're gonna do it and they just block it, then they can beat you up after the fact, right? But between the fact you can choose what direction to roll in, as long as it's not a hard knockdown, and that you have an invincible wake-up attack that gets the opponent off your back, you have some pretty good options on recovery in this game. And once again, these are universal. Every character in the game has access to them. Now, let's talk break and fury break. You might notice here, break is right below your health bar. It's a pretty important part of the game. What is it? It's the get off me move. And I don't mean get off me like say, push block or retreating guard like we talked about in defensive sections. I mean, if you're getting hit, get off me. This is combo breaker, basically. All you got to do is hit tag and one of your special move buttons, or you can have its own dedicated icon as well, and it will break the combo and send them flying. Important thing to keep in mind, though, it has to hit them to work. It's not just guaranteed. So if they did something like very small, or if you called it at the wrong time and they're already done, they start blocking, right there, it'll wall bounce you. So if you do it right timing, you send them away. But if you give them too much time to recover, they're going to block, and then they're going to combo you even harder than they already were. So it's a bit more advanced, but generally this is you're hitting me, okay, get off me. Let's reset this whole situation. But you might notice here, you don't start with it right away, and when you use it, it takes a while to rebuild. It ain't instantaneous. This isn't free to do. Now, one of the things that actually builds it is getting hit. So the more you get hit, the more the bar will build. So if you're getting beat up again, then that's one thing that'll get you closer to your next break meter. It's very powerful. It's get out of jail most of the time, but it's something you rarely get to use. That's break, though. Now, you could also use break in combos, although why would you, right? Well, the thing is, there's a thing called Fury Break that's a little bit different than regular break. Fury Break happens once one of your characters is dead. So Fury Break takes over regular break. So once the character is dead, now Fury takes over break. It's red instead, right? Now, one of the things for Fury Break compared to regular break to help it become a comeback mechanic is, in that example here where we're comboing, now it becomes a wall bouncer. It bounces them off the wall instead of just knocking them around, so it can actually help extend your combos. So now you can potentially get combos you otherwise would never get. So that's very powerful. Also, once you're in the Fury Break, you can start doing fun things. Like we talked about retreating guard, how you can backdash cancel when you're on defense, right? How about we can regular cancel any hit on offense? So yes, that will take up some of your meter, but once your Fury is live, you can basically just kind of keep extending combos as long as you have Fury meter. All you gotta do is dash. There's nothing other than just hit buttons, dash. Although the Fury has to be live. So needless to say, easy combo structure, right? Like you don't gotta think too hard about that kind of stuff, and you can cancel out of a lot of things. So say I randomly hit you with Darius' big old air spin, right? So, I got the hit, I can bounce you. Then I can do it again, and then I can dash cancel it. And you start putting some of this stuff together, because after that dash cancel, I can keep moving, right? So then, I can go for my big cinematic level 3, which will also pick you up off the ground, and just get hell of damage. Like that hurt, off just being randomly hit off this guy. Another big bonus for Fury is while you're in Fury, you just do more damage. So like here, stand heavy, 90 damage. If I'm in Fury, 117 damage. So you just get a sizable damage buff to everything you're doing, on top of being able to like wall bounce people from combos, being able to dash cancel anything, and that's on block too, by the way. That's not just on hit. So if you just want it to be your turn forever and forever and forever and forever, you just keep dash cancel. Like as long as you got the meter, this is basically the comeback mechanic. That and the more specialized assist that we talked about in an earlier section. These are your two comeback mechanics. So Fury is extra strong, basically is what I'm trying to say. It can let you get a lot of things going on. And don't get me wrong, like it's still regular break as well. So if I get hit, I can still do it the same get off me style move. So it's still good in that way. It's just better in every other possible aspect. Now I'm just doing more damage, you have the dash cancel, all that kind of stuff. Like you're scary when you're in Fury mode. Now, let's talk one of the most important things in the game. I'm talking something as important as just picking your character. And that is picking your fuse. So your characters play the way the characters play, but your fuse determines how you're gonna play. So as of right now in this closed beta, there's currently 5 fuses. And each of these gives you a different way to play the game entirely. So let me talk to you about all 5. So the first of these we're going to talk about is 2x assist, and it's actually as easy as it sounds. So normally under the rules of the game, you call your assist, and that's about it. They'll go away, and they'll they'll start the timer, right? And if you tag them before they finish their animation, hey, well, you tag out. That's great. So the difference here is this. When you call the assist before they leave, you can call an assist again. And then same deal, and then they do their thing and they can leave. So you can do this, wait a second, call them again, wait a second, and tag out. So it basically lets you put out twice as many assists as someone who does not have this fuse. And that's gigantic. And admittedly, it is stronger with some characters than others, like say Jinx. Jinx has the only traditional projectile. So that's really strong in a lot of ways, to say the least. Or she can set up her trap and then toss a projectile and just control a lot of the screen. Or say Blitz. Blitz can reach out and grab you, right? So that can help out a lot in, say, combo structure. Because you can just kind of reach out and grab you and just keep looping things, right? So that's really strong. Like, Blitz is one of the easiest combo extenders in the game because you can just launch grab, launch grab twice instead of once, right? So easy combo extender. And at bare minimum, it'll just get you a lot more pressure during your block strings because you can do whatever assist you're going to do twice. So there's nothing else to it, really. That's it. You just get to do your assist twice. It's overwhelmingly powerful. Even if you do double assist, by the way, it's not like it extends the timeout. Like the recovery time of your assist is the same as it always is. So it's really, really strong with zero downside. But of course, all the other ones have a lot of upsides as well. So let's talk about those. Now, our next fuse is Double Down. And on its face, it's also almost as dirt simple as 2x assist. Double Down lets you go from super into super. Really that easy, right? So at bare minimum, it'll let you get a lot more damage at the end of a combo when you're going from one super into another. Because I can just do my combo, do my super, and tag in my other guy, do his super. Done. Okay, sure. Like, that's really good. That is really, really good. However, some supers have, some fun synergies together that are more than just do one super, do the next super, do damage. Like, let me give you an example here of Alawi and Jinx. So all I'm going to do here is like the world's most basic corner combo. I'm just going to spike off, spike them down, and then I'm going to do her S2 super, which brings up the tentacles. And that doesn't combo necessarily in and of itself. However, with Jinx, I can do this, call her immediately. It'll get them before they hit the ground, and then look at that. Boom, boom, boom. That all hits. They're still active, right? I can do just a little bit more. Okay, here we go. Same idea, but okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to beam. And I'm going to beam. And then I'm going to beam. And then, all of a sudden, that just kind of works out, don't it? Like, I can get way more supers than I normally should because I've just created this really synergistic pairing between two characters. Because that's the name of the game, folks, right? You want to build your team and you want that synergy. And this is one example of, I don't even know how many. There's going to be so many examples of stuff like this, right? So, once again, yes, you can just do super, call in the partner, they do their next super. That, on its most base level, you can do that. But there's a lot of very synergistic situations where you can get a lot more than the base value out of it. And on top of that, it lets you break the rules just a little bit. This fuse, if you already have your tag partner on screen, will let you tag into them while a super is ongoing. And then all of a sudden, you can get a lot of things you normally couldn't get. Right? So that combo right there, let me give you a real world example here. So we get chain into rocket, and then that would be a good mid-screen hit confirm. Not the worst, right? But then if I know I got these first two hits, what I can do is call an Alawi, then go for my super, and then tag into it. And then all of a sudden, okay, we're doing this, we're gonna miss, but I can tag into her, and then I can add a lot more sass to it. So once again, it's more than just super and the super. You can create situations where your partner's already on screen, then do your super, tag into your partner, and then keep comboing after the fact, and then end with their own particular super. And also, on top of super and super, it will let you go into a super into a level 3. So in certain situations, it'll just get like absolutely titanic damage. Because then we got that, which is all right. But then we get to level 3, and level 3 supers scale very well. Like a very far away mid-screen hit confirm can do 75% 3 points life if you happen to have the meters, right? So this one's all about the meter. In this current build in the game, when it's round 1 fight, you just start the round, you'll always start with 1 meter for both of your characters. So even if you get the very first hit, at bare minimum, you can always go super into super, let alone all the other tricks. So this is a pretty alright fuse. If you're confused at bare minimum, it's a good go-to fuse. It's almost hard to go wrong. Like 2x assist really depends on the character because certain characters scale better with 2x assist. This mostly just kind of works for everybody. Now let's get tricky. Freestyle is advanced. 2x assist and double down, they're mostly what they're advertised on paper with maybe a little bit more extra fun stuff to figure out. Freestyle is you gotta start thinking. You can't just pick this one. So freestyle is, okay, you do the thing, you can tag, right? But, oh, you can tag it back. That's it in a nutshell. So when your character comes in and you tag in, before your other partner leaves, you can tag back into the other one. So one of the things this means out of the gate is situations where you can sandwich the opponent between you and your partner get a lot more dangerous. Because you can kind of just keep ping-ponging your opponent and yourself back between you two while you keep going for lows, overheads, or throws, or whatever. It just becomes scary. You can also use this to create unique combo situations because once again you get to tag twice. So I don't know if that's necessarily the most practical, right? But it is something you can do only in freestyle. So that's one thing of many. Unique combos, unique pressure. A lot of this is going to be sandwiching the opponent between you and your assist, and then you creating situations that just any other fuse in the game can't do. Because the pressure is going to be extra intense when they're very literally sandwiched between your two characters. This is definitely the highest skill cap of all the fuses, because the biggest thing holding it back, or the biggest thing in its favor, is your imagination and how you're going to break the game with it. Now here's a very unique fuse, Sidekick. So 2XKO is playable up to 4 players, and I feel this fuse is tailor-made with that in mind. As this is almost in the League of Legends terms, this is the support fuse, if you will. So you might notice Ahri looks kind of dead. She's not dead, but she's not playable. Only Braum is playable right now. Ahri, she don't get to come into this. So if you're playing with multiple players, ideally the normal player who's good at fighting games picks the guy who's in the screen, and the person who's learning fighting games is the support, and they're the sidekick. So what is sidekick? So sidekick is only that point character is playable, done. You have assists, however, you cannot tag out, ever. So you have the benefit of having the assist, but that is it. You do not get to tag out, you do not get anything involving tags or any of the benefits of tags, like longer combos or whatever. Nothing to do with tags. Now conversely, also since you don't get to tag, that means you don't get 2 characters. That means, you're sort of at a disadvantage health-wise. So you do get bonus health, and also when your health is at a critical amount, you'll get more defense as well. So you're not just losing out big time here. And you might notice you got one big shared meter. So you can do tag supers. So you're allowed to do that. Just when you do the tag super, you default back to the one singular playable character. Also, you'll start with 2 meters instead of 1 for both characters. Just to make that fair. It's still the same amount of meter, and you can still do some of the things, but you have effectively double down for free, although you can't do a lot of the more advanced things double down can do. Only the most basic super and the super. And also in the super to super note, the tag super cannot do the level 3. So you don't get the extra advanced big combo. But yeah, so that's kind of the long and short of it, other than one thing we'll talk about in a second. So you play one character, the character gets health and defensive bonuses to make up for only one character. You still get to call the assist, just they never actually come into play. And you get an aspect to double down for free, which is nice, super into super, which will give you some better combos, so you have some better offensive capability. but you lose tagging, all the gimmicks with tagging, all the pressure with tagging. This is definitely made for, although you don't have to, but it is definitely, I think, designed for 2-player. Now, here's a big deal. When you are getting hit, it's going to happen. You're going to get comboed. Either the support player or yourself if you're playing actually solo. But what you can do is when you're getting hit, you might see sometimes here some blue particle effects. If you hit a button press as you're getting hit, you will successfully take ever so slightly less damage. It's a fairly strict timing, but while you're getting hit, as you're hitting buttons, you'll take less damage. So that means too, your bonus health will effectively translate to more health yet, because you're taking less damage than you otherwise normally would. But you're effectively just getting a little bit of health back after the hit, if you're timing it correctly. So once again, you just press buttons as you're being hit. So it's very interactive for the player 2, because player 2 won't be able to tag in, but they'll call assist, they can do tag supers, and when you're being hit, they can hit buttons while you're being hit to help you out, player 1, right? So to me, by design, meant to be for duos. You can still play it single player, but if you're looking for the ultimate single player fuse, that's the next one. Now enter Juggernaut. Now that probably sounds like a big deal. It is a big deal. So this is a fuse of extreme strengths and extreme weaknesses. So out of the gate, you're completely solo. Like, there is no such thing as assists, let alone tags. There's some unique traits though, like, hey, wait, what was that, right? So if you do your tag move here that like tags into your partner, you instead knock the opponent out and force their partner in, a snapback. So that's unique to Juggernaut. Only Juggernaut gets to do that. But yeah, you lose assists. Assists are a huge part of the game. Assists are a big part of your offense, either in controlling neutral, pressure, or just doing like everything about the game. You need assists and tags, and you don't get to do any of it. Yes, you can snap the opponent back, which is unique, but that's it. Now, to make up for this massive downside, you will, just like Sidekick, get more health. So it'll take more hits to actually like put you under. Also, when you're at critical health, you'll gain bonus defense, so it's even harder to put you down. And like Sidekick, you'll start at 2 supers instead of 1 super, so that's nice. Also, like Sidekick, you will be able to self-double down. So you don't need double down at all, you just do it yourself, right? So I can go into a level 1, into another level 1 by myself. Don't need my partner. And that's great, because some characters have great self-centered, like Darius. The level 1 easily goes into the other level 1. I think Darius is one of the best examples of this. But that's not all. You can also go level 1 into your level 3, unlike Sidekick. So this gives you a lot of extra damage potential that Sidekick don't get. A lot of damage, as you can see. So self-double down, we have snapback, we start with 2 meters, that's good. But you notice here, notice it says Fury, not Break. You start in Fury, not in Break. So for every other fuse, if you want Fury, like someone's got to die. You're a solo character, you just start in Fury. That means your offensive potential is maximized out of the gate. So you can get the big bounces, you can get the Fury damage boost, and then you can do a super into another super with that damage boost. And then a basic nothing combo can do 80% damage. Like, that's nothing. I didn't even think about that. That was 80%. So like, your damage potential in this is potentially the highest in the game in most real world situations, not like super god combos with 2x assists or double down or whatever freestyle. Like, you just hit dude, oh, I hit you, I'm gonna hit you hard, and then I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna dash it, like boom, then so like it's just gonna hurt, and it's gonna hurt bad. So if you don't want to engage with this whole assist, tag, like all that stuff, this is the fuse for you. You lose out on stuff, but you do get very pronounced upsides as well. Now, let's talk some of the basics of combos. This is a fighting game, so we're going to need our combos, right? That's just how it works. And there's a wide variety of them, and no two people are rarely going to have the exact same combo. Because the free formedness of the combo structure in this game is one of the selling points. But just for the absolute baby basics, hey, once again, we talk about, like, this is light, medium, heavy kind of game. Some of the basic stuff will be light, medium, heavy, launch, move, maybe some kind of special move, and then smack them down to the ground, right? And you can use assist to re-juggle them. Some can keep combos quite grounded before launch. Like, there's a lot of things you can do. Like, there's a myriad of things to do, but I want to give you some of the rules of combo structure. So one of the most important rules that's sort of baked into the game rules is there's 3 kinds of combo extenders besides just doing your basic combo stuff. There is the wall bounce. And wall bounce is pretty self-explanatory. You hit them with something, like Derek's shoulder is a good example, and they'll bounce off the wall. And while they're doing that, you can just kind of juggle in and keep combos going. There is the tumble knockdown, where the opponent will roll on the ground, and while they're rolling, they are able to be hit. So, quick example here, while they're tumbling, I'm going to call my Jinx Assist and the Rocket Combobby, because they still count as hittable. So mid-screen, it can allow for extensions. The really scary part about tumbles is in the corner. If you tumble someone in the corner, they're going to hit the wall and slump instead. And from there, you can just kind of hit them again. So think of it like a wall bounce, but without the theatrics of the wall bounce, right? Because there's no more room for them to tumble. And depending on distances, they can tumble into the wall, right? So it's not just purely in the corner, you can reach the wall from the tumble. So tumbles are an extender in and of themselves as well, and if it hits the corner, then it can get extra